Okay, so the paper today is stuff you're probably more common with than the bowling and the other thing that we've been doing on the last couple of days. So how many of you know how to figure out your miles per gallon?
I don't even know how many.
Miles per gallon.
I don't drive.
You don't drive. Okay, gotcha. All right. So anyway, the miles per gallon is how many miles can you drive per gallon of gas you put in your vehicle. Usually is what miles per gallon is talking about. And distance problems. So this formula is a little more complicated than the ones that we've been working with, right? So let's see what all the parts are. So this formula will determine the miles a car can be driven on 1 gallon of gas. Okay, so miles per gallon. So X is the average speed per hour. Okay, so this is miles per gallon if you know how fast a car is going to be going. Okay, so in the example that they give us here, this car's average speed was 46 miles per hour.
Are you basically just plugging in?
And you just plug in 46. Yep. And put all the rest of that in your calculator. It helps to have the calculator that's the classroom calculator, right? When you're doing something as that looks like this. Okay? Because you can just type it in just like that and get the answer. Okay? So down here, we're given 50 miles per hour. So we're going to use this equation. So negative 1 over 80, parentheses 50 minus 50 squared plus 25. What's going to happen when you take 50 and minus it by 50?
0.
0. And 0 squared is still
0.
0. And 0 times negative 1 over 80 is still
0.
0. So 0 plus 25 gives me
45.
Okay, so this one was easier to not put in the calculator. But the rest of them will not be that as easy as that. But there you go. That's how you would do it. There's how you would set it up. Okay. Now, on this one down here, it gives you a different equation. However far they drove from this equation divided by the miles per gallon, or however many miles they drove here, divided by the miles per gallon you got from that one. So distance is going to be the miles. So the way that when you're driving a car, when you get a car, and you have to fill it up, and you want to know what your average miles per gallon is from your tank of gas, this is the formula you're more familiar with. Okay? And it's the miles that are driven divided by the gallons of gasoline that you used. Okay? So in our example, in number 1 here, it says a Buick Skylark driven 840 miles on 30 gallons of gasoline. So 840 divided by 30 is going to give you your miles per gallon. Okay? Do this to the nearest 10th place. So you should have 1 decimal point there. I think that's what I put on GoFormative, is to 1 decimal place. Anybody can do that math for us? 840 divided by, I'm going to tell you that is
28.
28. You did the math already? 28 even?
Yes.
Okay.
What is that for?
What? To figure out your miles per gallon too. So MPG, miles per gallon. Over here it was also MPG. Don't forget your unit. Okay. And then there's one last type of examples. One more. Okay. So the cost per mile, so CPM, cost per mile. Okay. It's the number of gallons times, okay, the cost per gallon divided by the miles driven. So for this problem here, a Geo automobile was driven 900 miles on 22.5 gallons of gasoline. Okay. So the miles driven is going to go on bottom. The 22.5 gallons, 22.5 gallons goes on top. And I'm going to times that by the cost of the gallons, which was $1.09. This was back when gas prices had dropped and was cheap. So now we can put that in the calculator, and this is going to give us our cost per mile. Okay. So does anybody have a calculator? I don't have one up here anymore. Yeah, doing the math for me.
It will be 0.02725.
Okay. So 0.02725. And I believe it wants all the decimal points in go formative, and also CPM, because it's cost per mile, so you have to do the dollar sign. Then it says to figure out the miles per gallon. So it went 900 miles on 22.5 gallons of gas. So 900 divided by 22.5 is it was 40 miles per gallon. So that's how you would do those problems. Okay. Or use the additional equations that they give you in the problems. Okay. So again, these are ones you're more likely to use just from driving, using an automobile and budgeting and stuff. This is more useful probably than some of the things we've been doing. So get those done, get them put in Go Formative, and you're done for the week if you've got everything else turned in.